Hey everybody, it's Frankie-Lou. I'm coming to you today from the Grow to Gather homestead to talk to you about another plant that I believe is a little underutilized in the gardens. I know that I've ranted about radishes to you, but there's another plant that I probably am just as nuts about as I am about radishes, and most people just consider it a decorative plant, but I want to talk to you today about nasturtiums. Now you can see I've got a whole bunch of nasturtiums here, and we'll get up closer later so I can talk a little bit more about it. Nasturtiums are really great for a lot of reasons. If you've watched my companion planting video, you know that it's a good companion plant for squash, it's a good companion plant for sunflowers. One of the reasons why is it provides a lot of cover. Okay, so for plants that want to have cool bottoms and warmer tops, it's great. It's great for keeping the weeds out of an area. Another thing that it does do, and a lot of people don't like nasturtiums for this reason, it can be a good aphid trap. One of the concepts about companion planting is deterring and bringing good bugs. And one of the things that you can do with nasturtiums, if you have a crop that tends to get a lot of aphids and gets eaten by aphids, if you put nasturtiums with it, sometimes what will happen is the aphids will be so busy with the nasturtiums, they'll leave your other crops alone. So that's called a trap crop when you do that. Another reason I really love nasturtiums is I find that it brings the hummingbirds around, and that just makes my heart happy. I love watching the hummingbirds play in the nasturtiums. It's quite a great way to waste a lot of time in the garden, so I really enjoy that. And but the main reason I grow it is I consider it a food crop. Yes, it's gorgeous and it's nice and beautiful clumping plant. I use it in hanging baskets. I use it all over, but for me, it's a food crop. Now, the flowers are edible. Okay, here's one here. Bit spicy. I like it, but I love horseradish, right? So, and it's also, I find that each variety of nasturtium has a different level of spicy. This is actually a pretty mild one, but I've got some other ones that will knock your socks off. So it is spicy, but it's delicious. It makes a beautiful addition to a salad, even if you just, like all you got is lettuce and you're like, I gotta make it look nice for the company. Throw a couple of these in and people are like, oh, it's a gourmet salad, right? And it has this sort of horseradishy flavor. It's tasty. The leaves are also edible. Okay, so I have used these leaves to make pesto because they're also a little spicy, and I find them a little bit harder. Okay, so if you want a salad that's a little crispy or crunchy or not soft, nasturtium leaves are a good addition, but once again, it does have a pretty strong flavor. What I like to do with it is I actually whiz it up in the food processor or the blender with some oil and some garlic, and I make like a pesto, and then I freeze it in little ice cube trays, and then I can use it later when I want to add a real zing to like a salad dressing or a marinade, something. I've got that tucked away for later. But the main reason I love nasturtiums is because of these. These are little, they're called poor man's capers, and I can never grow enough nasturtiums for my addiction to these. They taste like capers, but better. And because what you do is you pick your radish pot, well, your nasturtium seeds before they get hard, but they're still nice and green, and then you brine them. Well, actually, you salt them for a few days in salt water just to mellow the flavor, because those seeds will knock your socks off. So what you do is you just mellow it for a couple of days in salt water, and then all you have to do is pour a little bit of white wine vinegar and a bay leaf, maybe a couple other herbs for flavor, into a sterilized jar, and this keeps. Okay, excellent. I love smoked salmon, and with this, it's way better than any caper you're ever going to buy in the store, especially if you get a nice white wine vinegar. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you in and show you exactly the part of the nasturtium that you want to harvest and how. Okay, here we are at our lovely little nasturtium plant. Well, not little, it's a nice big one, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and it's keep growing. But this is what we're looking for. Okay, these are the seeds of the nasturtium. and this is exactly when you want to pick it. You want to pick them when they're still nice and green and tender. When they start to go brown or when they start to fall off the flower, then they're not good for pickling anymore. They're great for seed saving and for using next year. But what you want to do is you want to take that off. You split, it's usually you get 2 or 3. You split that and you put it in that salt water for a couple of days and then you brine it. And honestly, they're delicious. And like, who doesn't think nasturtiums aren't gorgeous? Like, look at that. They're so beautiful and they're a fantastic food crop. So I really can't say enough about them. And like I said, the pollinators and the hummingbirds like them as well. Okay, so I hope you like that. Here we go again with that nice little pod. These are going to keep producing until my first frost, which unfortunately is just over a month away probably here. So I am going to start harvesting these. I usually do, because I know in some places in the world these things are all over the place, but I actually have to start these early and to get a good enough crop. And I probably have about 20 nasturtium plants around my garden, and I probably get from 20 plants about 10 of these jars. So I do them jar by jar by jar, because you want to get them when they're young. You want to harvest as you go. It's very easy to make 1 jar of these, because it's just, you don't have to, apart from sterilizing the jars, you don't really have to do any other canning. I do seal these, but I know people who don't. They just pop them into their cupboard and they keep forever. But I'm a little paranoid, so I do actually fire up the canner and seal these jars. But once it's open in the fridge, just like any jar of capers that you buy at the grocery store, it's going to keep for a long time. So I hope you'll try it. I don't think you'll regret it if you like that tangy, capery taste, and you can be proud that you made it yourself. Okay, so give it a try. If you have any questions about that or any of the other videos that Angus and I do, if you have any suggestions for things you'd like us to do here for you on the Grow Together Homestead, please let us know. Subscribe and you can catch up on all the different things that are going on here at the homestead. And I hope you take this chance to grow together today. Have a good one.